Hey, what's going on, peeps? This is Ash and Eclipse back with another video. Just checking to make sure that my recording software is working properly because earlier I actually managed to get on the leaderboard, which I'll show you guys as proofs. Let's see. There I am. I got on the leaderboard earlier. I was actually trying to record it, and there was a issue with my recording software to where it never actually recorded the Greater Rift that I did, so that was fun. But I'm going to go ahead and give a 83 a try and see how that goes. So just like the last leaderboard push video, I'm not going to be doing too much commentary, so instead I'll go ahead and let you guys listen to some background music instead. Okay, and check if I'm repaired, which I am. Yep. We're good to go, so let's see how this goes. Oh, that's not good shit. Doo-doo-doo. Let's move them over here. Go. It's not looking too bad so far. Could have killed that champion without dying, but just misplayed a little bit. This conduit. Oh. Nice. Yeah, this is too tight of a space for me to deal with lasers. Let's see. Nice. It's a decent group of normals. Oh god. I'm just gonna skip those. Shielding with the Frost Nova is not a good combo. Not for this build anyway. Got Molten here. Here we go. Okay. Okay. Really utilize that power pylon really well. Problem with Molten is I just have to pay attention and not like group them all on top of me. Because that definitely kills me a lot. But then again, any kind of elemental damage with this build just kind of like wrecks your face more or less. This is taking a lot longer than it should. There we go, that's a little bit better. Okay, so we got lightning. Yep, shit. Okay. Oh god, fuck. Okay, if this guy would just die, that would be great. There we go. Just go ahead and clear this group out. Should spawn the Rift Guardian. Yep, let's see. This may be a problem. Ow. Just avoid the AoE. Ow. Nice. That's what I'm talking about. Well guys, that's how you leaderboard push with the Ena's generator build. There's a pylon over here too that I There's a pylon over here that I didn't even notice, but that's really satisfying. Go from an 82 to an 83, and I still had plenty of time on that 83 too. Woo! Man, just fuck skydiving and all that fucking adrenaline junkie bullshit. Fucking leaderboard pushing is where it's at if you want your adrenaline fix. Shit is insane. I still can't upgrade my primary gems. Oh well. It's always good to have a secondary gem level that you aren't necessarily using on a build, because then you'll have it for when you get a piece of gear that you can put Caldesons on. And for those of you that don't know what Caldesons is, it's in the cube, page 10, Caldesons to spare. Need an ancient gem of any rank. These are the minimum ranks you need based on what piece of gear, whether it's jewelry, a weapon, or armor. But once you hit the minimum, you can do any kind of rank gem, legendary gem. The piece of gear does have to be ancient, and then you need flawless royal gems of whatever type that your class happens to use. So for me, I always do emeralds because monk uses dexterity. But yeah, guys, I'm really happy about that, because there's a really good chance now that I finished around 500 that I'll finish the season like around 500 or 600 for monk this season, since season 10 is ending in 13 days, I believe. And then I'm not really sure when season 11 is gonna start. I think what they're doing is they're gonna plan for season 11 to come out after they grind all the kinks out with Necromancer. So from what I've heard, it's gonna be sometime early-ish next month when season 11 starts, which is also when Necromancer is gonna launch. But yeah, that's just awesome. Yeah, really happy about that. I didn't quite make top 500, but that's perfectly fine with me because I got close enough in my opinion. Go ahead and pause the music. But yeah, for my strategy for the most part is with normal enemies, I usually try to group them around the bigger guys because they give the most progression in greater rifts. So just kind of try to group everything around the big guys and then just burn it all down that way. And then for the other part of my strategy too was I was mostly looking for shrines that would help my damage in any kind of way. And once I found a pylon that, like either a power pylon or a conduit, I just immediately started hunting for either an elite pack or a champion pack. And luckily I got really lucky with the 2 elite packs that I killed with the conduit pylon, and then the champion pack I killed with the power pylon. There isn't really any other way to explain that other than I got lucky with the layout of the Greater Rift that I happen to be doing. And for the most part too with this build, since it is so weak against elemental damage, you pretty much always want to try to stay mobile. Especially if there's like lasers or something, you want to try to avoid that as best you can, because the lasers and the lightning will mess you up really bad, and Molten is pretty bad as well, so that's why during that can't remember if it was a elite or champion pack, but the sand wasps that had the lasers, that's why I was like freaking out a little bit, because it was a confined space plus lasers is like, it's basically like pretty much living hell for this build. Lasers in small areas is just pretty awful. That and lightning is not good either. So I was more or less trying to avoid the super confined spaces and that one section of the Greater Rift, but it's really hard because with that section, like pretty much that whole section of the Greater Rift is just a lot of confined spaces, so I really had to pay attention to what I was doing, which is why eventually I just ended up moving on, because it was getting too hectic for me to deal with, and there was like way too many lasers for me to try to avoid, because technically I can soak one laser, but after that I'm just toast. If I get hit by 2 lasers at the same time, I'm just instantly dead. There's no way I can soak it, even if I activate my mantra to give me more all resist. It still just pretty much obliterates me for the most part. But yeah, and for the Greater Rift fishing, the fishing term, quote unquote, that a lot of people mention, you really kind of do have to do that with this build, unfortunately, because if you get bad enemy types, or there's many pylons, or you're getting elite and champion packs that have just god-awful fixes based on your build, it gets really, it turns the difficulty up to 11 as far as trying to make progress goes. It's really aggravating, makes it super difficult. So that's why I said, like, especially with those pylons, I just got really lucky that the pylons were placed where they were, and there just happened to be elite and champion packs not too far from the pylons, which doesn't always happen, which is where the fishing comes in. Generally, I tried to finish Greater Rifts unless it looks really bleak and I'm just dying a lot, then I'll actually leave the game and start over. But I know people that hardcore fish Greater Rifts, just kind of like, if they die once or twice, they just immediately leave. But when it comes to leaderboard standings, especially once you start getting into like the top 100 especially, that's really kind of what you have to do, is you just gotta play your character to the best of its ability, and you gotta just try to find that not necessarily perfect Greater Rift, but just a good Greater Rift where there's good elite and champion pack placement as well as pylon placement. that actually benefits whatever build or character you're using. For different characters and builds, it's different, but like the universal kind of consensus, more or less, is that power pylon and conduit pylon, those two pylons are definitely the most beneficial when it comes to greater rifts and just for progression in general when you're trying to race that clock. So yeah, I think that's pretty much about all I wanted to go over and explain. I'm just super happy with how that 83 turned out. And I'm really glad that not only could I beat my 82 greater rift time, but not only that, I placed high enough on the leaderboard that I shouldn't have to worry about dropping off by the end of the season. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, I hope you found it informative and kind of learned more or less how the build works, especially when you're going super try-hard, hardcore mode as far as getting on the leaderboard. Hopefully this video kind of showed you guys what you need to do with this build in particular to really optimize your time, more or less. But hope everyone has a good weekend, and this is all for this video. I'm not really sure if I'll do another video or not before the end of the season. I might do another video just kind of explaining how I farm for various materials that I need to reforge gear and upgrade rare gear and all that good stuff. So look for that in the future. And that's all for me for this video, so I will see you guys in the next one. Later.